Hey everybody on YouTube. Today I thought I'd do another vintage video repair. Today we're going to discuss a Umatic 3/4 video machine. It's a Vo-7600. It's made by Sony. I want to walk through a few things with people. I'm getting a lot of requests from people about 3/4 Umatic repair. And I want to explain some stuff to people about what it takes to repair one of these machines. It's very technical and actually you got to have a lot of parts, but I've been getting a lot of questions of people trying to do a repair on their own, and I don't recommend that. If you got a 3/4 Umatic machine, a 3/4 machine like this, do not try to fix it on your own because you may cause more damage than you actually are accomplishing. It's not really recommended if you've never been working on these machines or if you're not a service tech. Do not attempt this on your own because trust me, you will run into problems. It may look easy, but generally it really isn't. So anyways, this is a video about a Umatic Sony Vo-7600. I am doing 2 of these for a customer. I'm trying to get these done. I'm waiting on 1 more to be shipped to me. But as you can see, I've got 1 unit completely restored. This particular machine was a complete mess. If you're buying these off eBay, warning, do not buy broadcast equipment off eBay. I'm getting many people coming to me saying they bought these machines off eBay and they don't work. You know, they want, most of the people you buy them off of, I'm not going to run it. They most likely will not return your money. You will have a real hassle trying to get a refund. Plus, you're going to try to ship it back to them. It's just a real mess. And basically, what happens is most of my customers come to me is because they get these units off of eBay and they want them serviced. Warning people, just don't buy anything off eBay if you can help it, and if it's most likely the unit will have to be serviced if you do buy it, and never pay a lot of money for these. If you're paying like over $300 or $400 a piece for these, say this unit somebody offers one on eBay for like $900, do not buy it because these units are not worth that kind of money. They're only worth about $200 if they're working. So kind of keep that in mind as far as cost and what you're going to spend. All right. Basically, just keep the cost down. Get a unit if it doesn't look like it needs a lot of repair, and you need to send it to a reputable person who knows how to work on them like myself. So guarantee you don't buy it thinking it's going to work once you buy it off eBay. Generally, that's not the case. Okay, this is one of the machines I'm working on for a customer. It's a Vo-7600, and I want to point out that this thing was a real mess. I replaced all the rubber belts and the Capistan motor on this thing, the Capistan roller itself. But the biggest problem with 3/4 Umatic machines is going to be the loading ring motor mechanism, and it's going to be the loading carriage. Both of these take a beating. People load tapes in these machines and they screw up the sensors. A lot of times they actually screw up the mechanism itself trying to load into the machine. It gets bent out of shape, or it gets out of whack, or they mess up the circuit board on the loading carriage. So basically, these are the 2 big problems with this machine. If you need a machine like this fixed, generally the loading carriage is going to have to be repaired. And that's something that you have to be a service tech to do. The circuit board might be broke, or the sensors might be shorted out, or the loading motor itself may not work, or in these new belts. There's a lot of little repairs on the loading carriage that have to be done. But as far as the loading ring mechanism, now the biggest problem with those is basically you need to replace the belt on those. But a lot of times those little motors burn out because they have a hard time trying to load. Have you ever had a 3/4 Umatic machine where you stuck the tape in and it wouldn't do anything? Well, sometimes those motors overheat, and I've seen several of them that I had to replace. So, it's, like I said, there's money involved here. So if you're going to get a machine fixed like this and you don't have parts on hand and you really can't get the parts, I have a full servicing center of parts here in my home. I have thousands of belts. I've got a lot of extra motors for these things. I have sensors for these things. A lot of the sensors that Sony used to make for these units I have on hand. So I have everything on hand, so it makes a wise decision to have me service the machine. If you're thinking just because you know a little bit about electronics you could fix it yourself, well, that's all fine and dandy, but if you don't have the parts and you can't find them, and then you have to pay for an expensive machine that doesn't work, it really doesn't make any sense. So if you have a Sony Vo-7600, you know, it's a 3/4 Umatic machine, I recommend this for the weekend warrior of people who have a bunch of 3/4 tapes that they want to digitize for their computer or YouTube. This is the model I would recommend for people who are not really into the hardware of the thing, and as far as repairs are concerned, it's not something that you could easily do on your own. This is a pretty good machine. It holds up. It could take a beating, and it needs services from time to time if you're not really beating on the machine. But the Vo-7600, recommend it to anybody who wants to digitize 3/4 Umatic machines. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video.